Mindful Living this week, we meet a woman who spends her life creating gorgeous and mindful spaces for us to spend our time in. Now, when we think about mindfulness, it's not so much just about living in the moment, but also where you find yourself in that moment. Welcome in studio. It's such a privilege to have you here on Mindful Living.
Thank you so much, Isel. Thank you for having us and allowing us the opportunity to share our story.
Now, I know you're a very busy lady, so, just the fact that you're actually sitting in this beautiful chair that you've made for me today, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I'm so excited to have you here.
Well, it's exciting to have set up your studio for you. And it's wonderful that we can talk about sustainability and all the things that really matter in terms of a healthy living and healthy environment.
Now, Vinette, let's actually start right at the beginning. I think it was actually Mary Poppins that used to say, let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. Now, Vinette, what does mindful living mean to you, and where did your journey start?
Well, mindful living is actually a part of who I am as a person. And one of the basic principles that DIY-Girls is based on. For us, it's all about creating environments that's both practical, but also obviously aesthetically pleasing.
Yes.
It's about creating environments, whether it's homes, whether it's commercial spaces, that energizes the space, that's peaceful, that's harmonious, and makes you feel comfortable. There's a couple of easy ways to do that, Isel. You can just basically declutter a space. You can ensure that there's enough natural flow that penetrates a space. Good furniture layout, for example, really does have a big impact.
Yeah.
So by following those very basic principles, you will ensure a space that feels homely, that feels welcoming, and as I say, that energizes the soul. And that is what mindful living is about, to DIY-Girls, but also to me personally.
It's got a lot to do with energy, right? It needs to feel right. I mean, and I think that's where all home spaces, whether it's maybe, like I say, home spaces or environments that you create, it's quite important to also know your customer. Because, you're going to very quickly pick up sort of that person's energy and you're going to amplify that, correct?
Yes, it's all about the relationship with the interior designer and the client.
Yeah.
It's a very tight relationship that you have with your client. I always say to clients, you're getting a little bit of my heart. Because the reality is, a DIY-Girl specifically, every single design we do from scratch. We don't copy and paste a recipe for one client to the next. So we do sit together as a team. We work long hours. We have a lot of fun, but also a lot of blood, sweat and tears while putting together a space that really talks to a person. Because remember, Isel, you've got to interpret the person's personality. You've got to take into consideration their lifestyle, their needs, their requirements, etc. All the while, as we say, ensuring that the space energizes.
Oh, I absolutely love that. Now, on to our next topic now. Be the difference you want to see in the world. And Vinette, I can already pick up from your energy today. This is something you're very passionate about. But tell us about your DIY community upliftment program.
DIY-Girls, at the essence of what we do, it's about empowering the communities that we live in and also giving back to the communities that surround us. So every single thing from producing our items, planning and designing our new product lines, etc., is all about involving those around us. It's a give-take relationship. Specifically with regards to the community upliftment program, we work with a lot of, especially females, in rural communities to empower them to apply their skills. There's an amazing amount of women in South Africa specifically that's so talented and underappreciated.
100%.
And a lot of women are also heads of household, so we're really giving those women the opportunity to showcase their talents and the attention to detail, which is one of the big driving factors behind our product excellence, and the ability to make something and craft something beautiful, bringing that to obviously the high-end markets, and bringing people really unique items with an African flair, but that's
I
still
love that.
contemporary.
Now, I used to have a swimming coach growing up, and she always used to say to me, it's amazing what one can achieve when someone believes in you. And I think I don't think you realize the impact you have on these women's lives, Vinette, because you believe in them so much that you give them a platform where they can amplify their service offerings. And that's something to really be proud of. I don't.
Thank you, Isabel.
Yeah, and
It's
I
almost like a
just,
sisterhood too. We all very close.
Yes.
I mean, it does become like day in, day night. And I know you and I had a chat about passion and passion that drives you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you're passionate about what you do, automatically that translates into the product that you deliver or the service that you deliver. And you see the passion that these women have, and being given the opportunity to showcase that. Which is a beautiful thing to be part of and to observe, and it's such a privilege to give women that opportunity and platform to show themselves off.
Well, I don't design furniture, and I'm not the maker of creative things, but I do cook, and I always say I cook from the heart, and you can really taste in someone's food when they wanted to cook that special meal for you, and it's because the love shows, and I'm sure, from your perspective, it's exactly the same, because currently you're just glowing in this chair and you're just radiating such positive energy. I almost wish people could feel, how passionate you really are about what DIY Girls is all about. Now, I'm going to talk about, women empowerment a little bit, and I also think that sort of, you briefly touch base on that, but, just a bit more around, the women empowerment side of your business. I mean, you only employ women, is that correct?
The majority of our employees are females.
Okay.
And I think just since a young girl, I initially, when I was younger, I always had the motto, everything they can do, we can do better. Maybe because I was raised by a very capable mom who used to do everything from servicing the lawnmower to changing the light bulbs to also cooking beautifully.
Yeah.
So there was really nothing that was gender specific or off bounds.
Okay.
And so for me, always, I think, there's no need to stereotype. And as I say, so I've really been passionate about giving women the opportunity, because I do believe that we are talented and that we are motivated and that we are strong, and really that there's nothing that we can't do when we put our minds to.
Oh, wow. I'm taking you home today. I need a little bit of this vibrant energy at home. Absolutely love that. Now, commitment to sustainability. I think nowadays it's sort of a topic that's becoming more and more, a talking point. And DIY Girls, and your thoughts around that?
We're very committed to sustainability. In fact, it's one of the things that we're quite proud of and really do push. There's wonderful initiatives these days in terms of sustainability, starting with just zero waste. So DIY Girls has a zero waste policy. Okay. One of the things that we do, for example, is all the little off-cut fabrics that is automatically there as a result of furniture patterns, decor patterns, etc. We actually keep those and convert them into quilted blankets. And those we donate to charities or NGOs, whether it's the elderly or orphanages, etc., etc. So even as simple as just off-cut fabrics, we try to repurpose those. But then also going back to the initial stages of choosing the fabrics that we use, we definitely have a preference for products that are sustainable, that are kinder to the environment, and that's ethically produced and sourced. So there you're looking, there's wonderful initiatives, as I say. For example, they harvest plastic bottles from the seas these days and transform that into beautiful fabrics that's luxurious. The furniture that we made for your studio is made from sustainable fabrics.
Yes,
and
we spoke about that, and I must be honest with you, I wish you guys at home can actually feel the texture of this. This was a quite exciting project, and right in the beginning, we Vinette and myself were talking about mindful spaces and how we can do this. She said, no, sustainable all the way, and here we are today.
And we'll be visiting the Hertex showroom a little bit later, and we can have a closer look at those beautiful sustainable products that your viewers can actually have a close-up look. And then who knows, they might pop through to Hertex or DIY Girls to go and have a look.
Well, it sounds like this lady is very busy. So just quickly, before I forget to ask you this, where and how can we see what you're getting up to, and where can we find out more about, what DIY Girls is all about?
All our information is available on diygirls.co.za, and then obviously also social media channels, our website, our email address,
And
our email
Instagram?
addresses on our website.
And Instagram? Yes, everyone loves a little bit of Instagram nowadays.
Yes, of course.
Fantastic. Now, let's talk mindful spaces. Now, I think we've already spoken quite a bit with regards to mindful spaces, but how important is the connection between interior, the design aspect, and the client?
Yeah, as I said earlier, the relationship with the client is extremely important.
Yeah.
Effectively, we're in a client's personal and private space. We're working there. That is our project. We're transforming those spaces, especially in the residential industry, or in the residential market. So, and it's quite important for us to really understand what a client wants, to be able to translate that into a design. As I said, also, we don't have a catalogue that we ask clients which look they want.
Yeah.
We really take the information from what their vision is, what their functional requirements are, and their lifestyle is, and translate that into something that energizes, that flows, and that's just in perfect harmony in terms of function and style.
Sure. Now, I'm quite cheeky, and I want to ask you, how do you deal with difficult clients or clients that's difficult to read? Because are you one of those people who, obviously you need to hear first what the client would want, but to what extent then do you propose or make suggestions to certain things if it's difficult to read a client sometimes?
Yeah, look, clients can be a handful.
That's what I'm saying. I had to be cheeky and just ask you this question because, I suppose each to their own.
Yeah, and I mean, pretty much in any industry, I think there's never a dull moment when you're working with people,
Yeah.
which is part of the blessings as well, because you at the same time you come across wonderful clients, and it translates into friendships that last a lifetime. We're quite lucky in that we have a huge clientele base that's recurring clients. So we often approach projects by phase detail.
Yeah.
So we're starting with a bedroom or a lounge, and by the end of a year or 2 year period, we're doing the auntie and the granny and the sister-in-law
Or the baby room that's coming around,
etc.
Okay.
So that's often one of the ways that we really overcome, because obviously it's a relationship, and the more projects you work together with, the better you get to know the clients and understand what their requirements are.
Yeah. No, I take my hats off to you, because I think it's always customer first, and sometimes you have that person where you're like, I'm not sure if that's going to be connecting the dots. But
I think Isel, also you are in an advisory role as the interior decorator or designer, and so I think clients also do have respect for that. So there is also, they're getting you in to advise and to propose and to make sure that the end result is what they're expecting it to be. Translated their vision.
Yeah.
So I do think that also helps, and you do have the opportunity to express what your views are, and obviously what the pros and cons are of every decision that's made in the process.
Well, from the process, let's talk about the process. Now, these beautiful fabrics and this chairs that we're sitting on now, aligning with the right partners and suppliers. I also think that is very important, because someone in your position, you obviously work with deadlines, and that deadline can be affected by suppliers or people you work with. And I mean, we sort of had a little bit of a deadline glitch when it came to finishing the studio, so I do know what it's all about. So how important is it to align with the right partners?
Yeah, I think anyone in the manufacturing industry and also in the service industry would agree that you're only as strong as the weakest link, right?
Yeah.
That is case in point. And I mean, we constantly obviously looking for suppliers and backup suppliers and alternative suppliers, etc. Because we make a promise to clients to deliver exceptional products within deadline, within price point. So unfortunately, there's a whole bunch of people involved in the process to make that happen. And as soon as any single person in that process or party in that process drops the ball, obviously the end result is impacted. So, we are in a very fortunate position where over the years we've built wonderful relationships. And Hertex, for example, is one of those clients. Their product is immaculate. Their service is great. They're always going the extra mile in terms of accommodating DIY girls. And I think the fact that they co-sponsored the furniture and decor for your podcast studio is just case in point. They're here and they want to partner with DIY girls and also with yourself to embrace this opportunity. So we are really lucky to have some good partners. And I think from an entrepreneurship perspective, most likely that would be one of the key elements that I would say can be either your greatest success point or your greatest failure, is your partnerships and the different parties that's involved in your process.
Now, before I rope Sigi van Niekerk, which is a very interesting lady, and I have so many questions from Hertex into the studio, let's just sort of touch on some highlights for you, Vinette, over the last year, and maybe something that you could be looking forward to the future. Is there anything you would like to share with us? Something exciting? You're letting the cat under the hat situation for us.
Yes, thank you. The past year has been wonderful. And I think every single year we think, oh, wow, what an amazing year it has been. And then the next year we sit back and we think, oh, that was nothing compared to what we experienced this year. But I think in essence, again, people is the highlight for me time and time again, whether it's a supplier, whether it's an employee, whether it's a client. It comes back to the joy we experience in working with people. And, especially when it comes to client projects, residential or commercial or lodges, I mean, people's faces when they see a space that you have transformed is just amazing. And it makes my heart happy. So in terms of greater successes for the past year, I think greater successes since I started DIY Girls has been the people. And that is the memory that I'll always keep with me.
I absolutely love that. And now we're going to rope in Sigi van Niekerk from Hertex into studio. And then from there, the three ladies, us three ladies, of course, would be visiting the HAUS side of Hertex. Sigi van Niekerk, welcome to Mindful Living.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
It's our absolute pleasure. Now, Sigi's role at Hertex she is the fabric and wallpaper buyer. I find that to be such an interesting position to have. Sigi, please share with us, what is a day in a normal working environment for you?
Well, I'm very fortunate that I get to do what I love most, which is working with fabrics, colors and prints, and that we get to build ranges each and every single day. Of course, the other very nice side of the job is that we get to travel, we interact with suppliers from all over the world, and of course, the reality is that we also need to be looking and tracking sales. So this is obviously a key driver. We need to make sure that our core ranges are delivering in terms of profit. And then, of course, we also want to be trend relevant. So we also need to incorporate those fashionable prints that you see and that you've also selected, just to make sure that we cover and offer something for everybody.
So I can rightfully say, you never a dull moment in your work environment, right?
And of course, there's also always there's shipping delays, there's other supply issues, so there's lots that you've got to deal with and stay on top of. But definitely very dynamic.
Now let's chat about Hertex HAUS for a second. What is that all about?
Well, very exciting. We've obviously launched Hertex HAUS there was a need for having curated homeware to complement all our wallpaper and fabrics. And that's where it initially started. But it's been so successful that the range has expanded. So besides offering wall art and rugs, we now also offer outdoor and indoor furniture. There's illumination, and we also offer ready-made curtains, which have been a huge opportunity for us in terms of sales, and this is definitely a growth opportunity.
Oh, well, we're definitely going to have a look at all of those a little bit later.
Yes, it's been a very exciting year for HAUS because we've also opened 2 retail stores, one in the Western Cape in Somerset West, and then also one in Gauteng.
Oh, okay. That is definitely worth a visit. But tell me, Do you guys only stock local brands or also a little bit from the international flavor?
So in terms of internationals, we've got wallpaper and fabrics. So big names like Sanderson, Clark & Clark, and Mazaril, for an example. Obviously, we'll show you the rest at the showroom. And then in terms of our local Hertex brand, this is still sourced overseas because unfortunately there aren't many fabric mills left in South Africa. But it's especially curated ranges that we put together under the Hertex brand. And then in terms of the HAUS side, we also have mainly imported furniture and decor, but there are one or two styles that we do produce locally. And at the moment, we actually have one of our best sellers, which is one of our boucle chairs, which is produced locally.
Oh, wow. Okay, now, where and how can people get in touch and find out more and also get the addresses for these phenomenal showrooms you're talking about?
So we've got our two websites. There's hertexhouse.co.za, and then for the fabrics, there's hertex.co.za. And then we also have Instagram. So there's Hertex at Hertex Fabrics, and then at HAUS by Hertex.
Oh, okay. Definitely going to give the Instagram one a follow. And then, of course, on Facebook, I also sneakily found you guys Hertex Fabrics and Hertex HAUS.
Yes, that's right.
Now, before I let you go, and we're rushing off to the showroom, of course, because I'm dying to see everything there, trends for the upcoming season. Is there anything you can share with us that we need to be on the lookout for?
So yes, very exciting. One of the key trends for next season would be sustainability. And this was a key driver at the trade shows. And there's also a focus on how to repurpose or reuse fabrics and also in terms of materials. Yeah. So this is definitely something that we're driving. We've also launched ranges like Eco Journey, which you will see at the showroom, which is especially a curtaining range and encompasses recycled polyesters. And then we've got a couple of other ranges as well, which encompass viscose and linens blends, along with other upcycled fibers, which we can show you at the showroom. And then a second very, very big trend in view of the current economic cost of living crisis would be the indoor-outdoor. So it's really offering customers fabrics and furniture which can be used indoor and outdoor. So you're getting better value for your money, and there's obviously the end use is more versatile.
I love that, the whole multi-purpose. I'm quite all for that. You know, if you have something you can use in different setups or settings, depending on whether it's a rainy or a sunny day, of course, you know, you can move things in and out. Well, that's it here in studio. Let's go over to the HAUS, beautiful HAUS showroom right here in Kramerville, and we go see what that is all about.
Sigi, I particularly love the Viva Life range from Hertex, which was recently launched. It's available in a wide variety of colorways. It's eco-friendly, sustainable, and to top that, it's also durable and easy to clean. Don't you want to tell us a little bit more about the sustainability factor?
Yeah, sure. So this is one of our key ranges. What the key factor is here is that it's made from a byproduct of the oil industry. And in the process, there's no water used in terms of dyeing up the total variety of colors that you see here. So that's the main key factor here. So there's a reduction in the waste of water,
which is lovely for both residential and commercial clients who wants to bring a sustainability element into their home and wants to be kinder to the environment. For Izel's studio, we actually use this beautiful moon rock color, which I love. It's fresh, it's luxurious, it's soft, and to top it all, the Viva Life range is actually quite affordable too, which is amazing.
Yes, and that color is very on trend. So.